Hey you guys, welcome back to Adventures of Ty. Thank y'all so much for joining me again. So boom, we here in Mexico, Yucatan, Mexico. I done been here for like 2 years now. Basically left the United States, fled. It was so much pressure, I believe, of the world, y'all. The whole world. Mental health is real, and I felt like I was drowning in the United States, and I felt the only way, to save myself and my kids and my dad was to escape the United States, and that's what I did. I took me and my 3 kids and my dad. I hopped on that flight and I have not looked back. We left a lot. I have my family there. Of course, I do have family back in the United States that we miss dearly. My kids, their fathers are there in the United States, and so we definitely miss our family. But we love our life here in Mexico as well. It's so different. The culture is just so different. Here in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico, it is very safe. It's been ranked #1 safest in all of North America, #1 or 2, because of the safety, because of the affordability, and because of the research that I did through YouTube, getting that that confirmation or just that reassurance that this is a place that I could possibly survive in. So I made that leap of faith, and it's been an amazing experience. Oh my gosh, I love it here. My kids, they love it. My dad, he loved it. My dad is, I think, 68, 68, 67, 68. He might be about to turn 68 in October. But he loves it here. We are all learning, the language still, learning the culture, learning more and more every day. We met some amazing people that we can now say are our amigos. My dad all the time talks about his amigos. We live here in Concao, Yucatan, actually, is where we live. But more people are familiar with Merida. When you move to a new country, we basically move with the clothes on our back and our suitcase. Suitcase is packed full of stuff. I didn't know what to pack or what to bring exactly, so I packed a little bit of everything, y'all. I even brought blankets and a laptop, and we had a projector, like a small size little projector, just stuff that I thought that we would need and would be able to kind of just get us through until we got to our destination, or found a house was the goal. And so I found someone through YouTube, Cartaz Ross, and he was there to kind of guide me through search for a house. I didn't know the area. I could only just go by, the map and videos and things like that. So I knew that I wanted to be in, somewhere in the Merida, vicinity. But I know that there were a lot of different towns surrounding Merida. And so, after kind of narrowing it down, we came upon Concao. And I never forget, we went to this park in the middle of Concao. It's called Centro. Typically, each town has a center where the church and the park, the police station is typically all within that center. So I remember going to the center of Concao and sitting down at this little pull-up, like a little truck, a little food truck. And the park was there, the big church was there. It was full of kids just playing, and it was so peaceful. It was breathtaking for me. Just that sense of peace, people Mexico is different, you know. Some people may look at it and see, you know, the trash, or you know, the old houses and buildings, and you know, may not be appealing to them. But for me, you know, I looked past that. I felt the energy, I felt the vibe. It was just peaceful, and it just felt good to me. And so once I felt that, I was like, this is it. You know, the house that we found in Concal came fully furnished. Typically, the houses here come that way a lot of the time, and so it had everything. You know, again, we only had the stuff that we had packed in our suitcases, just clothes and just some other little odds and ends stuff. And so knowing that this house had everything down to the plates, pots, pans, beds, the sheets, the everything. It even had toys. That was another thing. Cause I guess the owner had kids, and so it had a lot of toys like baby dolls and all type stuff. And my girls, you know, at the time were young, you know, like 6 and 11. And so that was, I mean, they came in and saw this in this beautiful house. I mean, nice furniture. And then to know that that was affordable to me, and they asked no questions. Man, send me where to sign it. You know, it was basically like, show me the money. That's how that worked. You know, I had the money, they gave me the keys. It was no long drawn out contract. You ain't have to prove that you made 3 and 4 times the rent. They ain't check, you know, references, jobs, nothing, you know. And so it was simple. And that to me, that to me was everything. That's what I have been trying to do for so long, and was not able to do that, regardless of how much money I had or saved. You know what I mean? They base it on past, and no one is perfect, you know. So we lived in that house for a year. We signed a year lease. That house, I learned a lot. That was a learning lesson. Again, when you move to a new country, you don't know nothing. Even if you knew the language, even if you were fluent in Spanish, it's still a learning experience. And so that house, to me, it looked really good. It was a really nice house. It worked for us at that time, but there were a lot of, I'm not gonna say a lot of issues, but there were some issues with that house. There were leaks that we dealt with, and you know, just, it was an older house. And so after that lease was up, I was like, boom, this next house, I want to make sure that I really find a newer house, more up-to-date house. Make sure that now I know what to look for as far as, you know, mold and mildew and leaks. In the Yucatan here, the weather is harsh, and so it goes through a lot. And so the house, you know, these houses, they go through a lot as well. And sometimes in these bills, it don't be quite right, or sometimes it could be an older house and there are some issues. But now, like I said, experiencing that in my next house, I knew exactly what to look for. And so this house here that we found, it was not furnished. It was semi-furnished, and so it only came with a living room set and a dining room set. So a sofa, a love seat, a chair, and then the dining room set, which seats about 10 people. 3, 6, 7, 8, 8 people. 8 people. And so everything else we have purchased, and things are so much different now, because in the United States I had so much like debt, old debt, you know, from when I was 16, 17, 18, you know what I mean, years old, on top of, you know, some current debt. I had all of that, hospital bills, just all kind of craziness, you know, that when life happens that were very difficult to have removed. I had a lot of that. Here, we've been here 2 years now. I have no debt whatsoever. Pretty much everything in here, other than, like I said, the couch. This is one of the couches. This is the couch. It was a couch and a love seat, but this is one we had downstairs that came with the house. But we ended up purchasing a larger sectional, and so we brought this upstairs. I have one of these upstairs, and my son has another one in his room. But everything else we have purchased and we own, and if we find another house or decide to move, we can take that with us. What do you mean? So, this is one of my children. We have a huge house with a huge backyard with a pool, and they are outside now playing volleyball. They are part of a volleyball team that they practice 3 times a week right down the street in that same center, Centro, that I initially fell in love with at that park. All of that is right there. And so Allison, the youngest, is coming in here to retrieve the ball from the portion of the roof, or I guess you could say a ledge.
Can I say hi?
Sure.
Hi.
So yeah, she has a little broom here or whatever to get the ball. A dustpan, I guess it's a dustpan. Okay, thank you so much. It's a long dustpan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you switched out the thing.
Yeah, it's actually a broom handle, and yeah. But yeah, boom. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. So, boom. But yeah, in the first house we had some issues. Man, it was some things that I just so for instance, the first house we would have to buy gas like once a month, and it was like $80 a month. And I'm like, this is crazy. Typically in here you have very few bills. So there is your rent that you would pay, or if you buy a house, I guess it would be separate, different. But rental, you have your rent that you pay each month, and then your utility, which is your lights, you pay every 2 months, so bi-monthly. And then of course if you have like internet, you would pay that, and whatever else, telephone, boom. But this daggone gas bill was, it was like, dang, we have like propane tank, and it's for your hot water and to cook, and we was doing this like every month, and it was like $80 to a point. I was like, you know what, we don't need leaky. We won't need no hot water. It's hot enough here. So we went a minute with no heat because I'm like, it's crazy. I'm not gonna keep paying no $80 a month, no hot water, even though it's not a lot. It's compared to the other bills that we were paying, I felt like it was just too much, and we didn't need it. At times, it was, the hot water was already coming out of the faucet because it was just so hot. It's hot here. And so when we moved here, I noticed a huge difference. We filled the thing up, and like it's been like a whole year before we had to fill it up again. We spent $80, and it's just unheld. So little things like that if I had known, because it was an older house, there was things that we were dealing with that I had no clue, because I don't know, you know. The wear and tear on the house because of the heat and the humidity, things like that. We had a whole sink, 2 sinks fall in the floor because of the humidity, you know, the leaks and the things that we were having. So this house here, we've not had really any issues. Of course, I mean, everything ain't gonna be perfect. So there is a couple little leaks here and there. When it rains, I ain't gonna say here and there, it's the same leak all the time. It's right here at my window. A little bit of water will up here down on the ground, but it's not a lot. It dries up really quick. That's nothing compared to the leaks we were having in the first house. Any issues that we've had with anything else in the house, because I have a good relationship with the homeowner, I don't even talk to him personally. I've only sent text messages, but anything that I deal with at the house, I have repaired on my own through my own connect, and he takes it out of the rent. I apologize for all the banging. I'm probably gonna have to stop this video because they bouncing this ball and it's so loud. Okay, boom. I'm back. So yeah, this house is a really nice house. It's a newer house, still within Concal, and we love it. And well, this is what's going on. We did another year with this house. We've already gone through a whole year in this house. So 1 year in the first house, 1 year in this house, and now we're probably almost 6 months in to our second year in this house. And it's been really nice. Really, 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 really nice. I'm happy with this house. The last time I looked, just looking to see if maybe, you know, if there was anything else out there a little bit bigger, possibly. And I didn't see anything, you know, that really came close to this house for what we're paying. Still very reasonable, even though the exchange rate has gone down. It was about $20 when we initially moved to Mexico, but now it's like upper $18. So even within that, we still very, very affordable. We love the area. We know just about everybody here in Concal. We get out often. If there are events and things here, you know, through Facebook, we are a part of anything dealing with Concal, we are part of it. So when something is going down, we know about it. We're gonna be there. We at all the events. We be the only black folks out there. But we be out there. And, you know, we know them, they know us. When we see them, it's like, well, nah, you know. And so I love it. I really do. And now I'm learning Spanish. Shout out to Miss Lois teaching me Spanish. This is probably like my 3rd week. Excuse me, going on my 4th week of Spanish, learning Spanish. It's starting to make a whole lot more sense to me now as far as words. I know a whole lot more, you know, in the 2 years. Unfortunately, I am not as fluent as I would have liked to be, but, you know, I do know a lot of small words. I'm able to get around very easy, me, my kids, and my dad, with the little bit of Spanish that we do know, but I'm now taking lessons. DJ actually went with me last week to my Spanish lesson. So I'm trying to get more out of, you know, living here and learning the language. And I'm sure y'all have seen my videos. Got a couple videos with my new boo. He it's just so awesome. Oh my gosh. Dating here, dating Mexican man, or well, this Mexican man is different. He is way different. He's just a gentleman. He opens the door for me and all of that. We done been on quite a few dates, and I really enjoy him. His name is Cornelio, and we are the same age. He's 46. I'm actually just like a month and a half older than him. We met on Facebook dating. Yes. So I had so of course I also talked about I had met someone last year in October. His name is Theo. And we, oh my gosh, it was a beautiful just chemistry from the start. I met him just walking down the street, and this mug out of nowhere, like, hey, you black. And so, like I said, we hit it off from the start. He was here for 2 months in Mexico, and we met probably about a month into him being here. And so I got to hang out with him for a little over a month, and he went back to the United States. He kept trying to get back. He was like, his intentions were to come back here to live. And he kept trying to get back, and probably within, let's see, that was October, November, December, January, February. By March, we found out that he had cancer. While he was here, I know he had, this was in November of last year. While he was here, he had mentioned, you know, like some little stomach issues. And I'm thinking, hey, it's probably, you know, when you come here with the water and the food, sometimes, you know, you can have some issues, you know. And so that's what I'm thinking was going on. He gets back to the United States, and it's still, you know, happening. And, you know, that's what the result was. You know, he had liver cancer, and so he went very fast. Within 1 month, I watched him transitioning, and that was tough. That was really tough, because, you know, we had plans, and so, you know, that was a lot, but a lot came out of that. I'm still friends with his sister. We walk daily. She's back in the United States right now, but she will be back soon, and we'll continue walking together. And we, you know, she's just great. We have a really good, built a really good friendship. So that I do cherish. But, you know, after he passed, you know, time, you know, life goes on, and I'm like, man, you know, I wonder how, you know, wonder what's out there for me. You know, I found myself looking through, you know, the Facebook dating app, and every time I would always just be swiping left, because I'm like, no. And eventually I came across Cornelia, and his profile picture, it was just him, just, you know, chilling. I think he was in his car, and it was like, post up a little peace sign, but went through his little, you know, profile or whatever, and he had a really nice smile, big smile, nice teeth, all of that. And so I think I don't know if he liked me or I liked his picture first. Once you like, it's like you match. And I do know he sent the first message. I can't even remember what he said, but I responded. I was like, boom. It took me a minute, but I finally responded. And you know, we just messaging back and forth, and he finally asked me on a date. And the first time I said no, I was like, no, I'm not ready. But then he asked me again, you know, a couple weeks later. He's like, look, you trying to go on this date? And so I agreed, and we met down in Centro, same little place right down in Cashapp. He met me down there, and we went and ate breakfast. We met early that morning. We ate breakfast and talked, and found out we had a lot in common. He is actually has family in North Carolina. But yeah, you know, you see the smile. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to have somebody that you can call your boo. You know, all the texts and dates and hugs and kisses. It's all really, really, really sweet. And so, yeah, shout out to my boo. Let me stop. That was so silly. But yeah, he look. When I tell you, I feel so safe and so secure. Like, he done seen me with my wig off. I took finally showed him what I look like with no wig on. But he likes me. He said this is what he loves, my heart, and I'm like, wow. So yeah. Anyway, y'all probably see him soon again. Yeah, he works a lot, and so yeah, but y'all be seeing. Anywho, I am still available if there's anybody that trying to move to Merida area. Definitely give me a call. My number is 999-155-6246. Again, my number is 999-155-6246, or you can reach out to me by email at tyanthabrown@yahoo.com. I have a US number as well, but I don't know that by heart, so I'll put that down below. You can visit my website at www.tyanthabrown.com. Yeah, but yeah, thank y'all again. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.